Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Frederic, and we're going to talk about a very different subject than anything you've heard probably this weekend: how to make a living in the natural health movement, how to make a living with your passion, how to make a living doing what you love, and spreading the word about something you believe in. How many of you would like to do that? Okay. How many of you are currently doing that? Okay, to some degree, but would like to improve? Or, all right. I've been working in the natural health movement on my own, with my own business for over 10 years, but started very humbly and built up. And initially my goal was just, my goal was not to make a living or make money. My goal was just to be part of that movement. I just wanted so badly to be part of that movement and contribute to that movement when I got into raw foods in 1996 or 97. And so I just decided I was going to learn with some of the people that were involved in that movement. So I took a bus one day from Montreal to San Diego, because I didn't have enough money to pay for the flight. So it was a 3-day bus ride to get to San Diego. It was insane. And yeah, I just showed up at some really well-known raw foodists. We're not so well-known back then, and just said, give me a job, like anything. I'll just photocopy your catalogs and learn from there. But eventually I knew I wanted to do my own things. So the internet was just starting, kind of booming back then. And I've had my own website and had started building my list since 1998. And I want to share with you some of the things that I've discovered on how you can make a living in a natural health movement. Because if I would start all over again with this business and with this endeavor, I would do it very differently. I lost a lot of time and efforts and money to figure out how to do it, figure out how to make it work. And it's so easy now. The resources are so available. But a lot of what's blocking you is just your thoughts and your thinking about what you think you can accomplish. So let's start with this idea: how to make a living with your passion, how to make a living doing something that you love. And we want the two to be together. So your passion is your job, your work is your passion, all goes together. But you also want to be able to make a living at it. Something you can do freely. You can only do it so much as you're able to support yourself. And what's the value of trying to do something you believe in if you cannot support yourself and then have to maybe get a job, something you don't really believe in, something you don't really want to support? So the goal is to be able to combine the two. And I want to talk quickly about some, because people can say, okay, well, that's cool, you do this, you've been doing this for a while, but it's probably much harder for me to start right now because there's so many people already doing this on the internet and everywhere, so how can I stand out? What can I contribute that's different? So I want to talk about some people that have taken my course on how to make a living in the natural health movement and have created websites, and there's much more than this, but I just wanted to point out a few, and we'll go back to some of these examples. One is a girl, an amazing girl. I wish she was here. She's 21. She started this amazing website called fitonraw.com. And some people think they're too young to do this or too old to do this. Well, I found that not to be the case. You can start at any age. And it's about really putting your passion and your heart into it. So she's building her list. She's starting to sell products. And she's still in college. Another person that I know in Quebec that is now making or is able to make a full-time living with her website and selling solutions in French about yoga and health. Another person is Monica from the skinnyonraw.com. She offers consulting. Eric Errol does eco-living. So it's not just about raw foods. It's not just about spreading the word about raw food. Whatever you think you're interested in is your passion. If it's yoga, if it's something else, if it's eco-living, if it's helping people one-on-one by doing consultation, or whatever it is, you can find your niche. You can find your place in this internet world. Now, there are things that will come up for you, and I'm sure you can think about this. And who can give me some examples of the things that are preventing you from doing this, from starting your own business and from already making a living in the natural health movement? Who can give me some examples? Yes?
Technology is overwhelming.
The technology is overwhelming. I'll talk about that. We'll talk about how you can start a website on less than $500 budget completely and give you the resources exactly. You'll learn that today. You can get some web addresses, some designers that I use myself, and how you can outsource everything. You don't actually have to do it yourself. That's the beauty of it. You know, I think people try to do too much themselves. Like, do you want to be a writer or do you want to be a webmaster? You know, do you want to try to be both? That's the problem people face. Like they say, well, I've got to learn how to program a website. You don't have to learn how to program a website. I don't even know how to do that. You pay someone to do that. And who else has other ideas, things that are kind of preventing them? Yeah?
You have to get all these certifications.
Certifications, okay. Well, we're going to talk about how you can be a problem solver. You know, I'm not talking about setting up a consulting business necessarily where you help people with their health issues one-on-one. Then I would advise you to get the proper knowledge to do that. But being a problem solver is something everyone can do. You already know more about your topic of interest or health or raw foods than 99.99% of the population that needs you. So it's really about finding specific solutions to problems and how to do that. And being of value. You know, if you can be of value in a way on the internet where you can build traffic to your website because people want to learn about what you say, you don't even have to sell your own products. You can be recommending other people's products that you believe in, recommending what you believe in, and earning a living that way. Who has other examples? Yes?
Time. How do I find time?
How do I find the time? Yeah. That's a good one. That's a better one. You know, that's something that myself, like, I've struggled with for a long time because, you know, there's never enough time to do everything. And we tend to think that the more time we put into something, the better it's going to be. But often it's not so much the quantity, but it's the quality of the time you put into something. So I'm not going to lie to you and say you can start your own business in a 1 hour a week. That's just not going to happen. It's impossible. But you can do it in 2 hours a day or 10 hours a week. You can get started, do everything, and get to a point where, let's say, maybe you put 1 weekend into it, a full day into it. And then as things build up, then as you have more time and you're able to do things right from the start, where you're not trying to do everything yourself, then you can only work a few hours a day on it, if you know, depending on what you want to do with this business. But time is really about, well, there's the 80-10 rule of time, you know, 80-20 rule of time, like 20% of your efforts will lead to 80% of your results. So we want to find this 80% that brings us everything else, pretty much. And there's also the Parkinson's law of, you know, I think it's called time efficiency. Basically, that time tends to expand, work tends to expand depending on how much time you have available. So the more time you have available to do something, the more the work is going to expand to fill that time. So if you give yourself a year to do something, you're going to take at least a year to do it. If you give yourself a weekend to do it, you will find a way to do it in 1 weekend. Okay, you can make a living in the natural health movement, and this kind of image is something that I had in my mind where I could be able to travel the world. You know, whatever your passion is, whatever drives you. For me, it was, I want to do something that I love, and I want to be able to live anywhere. Now, I don't want to be tied to one specific location. If, you know, in 1998, laptops were really expensive. I thought, I really want to get one because I had this desktop computer. Like, I can't bring that, you know. And once laptops became popular, it was sort of this savior. Like, you could work from anywhere. And things became even more easier over the years, where there are now resources I will share with you in this presentation where you can get products created and shipped to your customers from anywhere in the world without you ever seeing them or holding them in your hands. It's all done automatically. We're not even talking about digital products, which is also possible. You can do that from anywhere in the world. You can start your own business, and all you need is a laptop and an internet connection. And do that from anywhere you want. Now, you might like to stay at home, and that's also a good thing. And whatever you want is possible, especially in 2009. Okay, that's a big thing. You can succeed without a degree or without being the picture of perfect health. That's one thing that people ask me, well, you know, like I'm still learning this information. Like, you know, how do I like actually, I think I need to spend 10 years and become the picture of perfect health, and then I can start my own business and then teach others to do what I do. Or I haven't lost 350 pounds, so how can I, you know, I don't have this crazy before and after story to share that grabs the attention and imagination of people, so what can I do? Well, you can be yourself, you know. You can share your struggle and your research and just stay honest and careful and not pretend to be someone you're not pretend to be an expert that you're not, but you can share your passion. And people need that. They need to connect with who you are and see, oh, you know, this is what you're doing, and this, you know, I want to learn from you because you've reached something that I haven't reached yet. You've reached a certain level in health that I haven't reached yet. And with degrees and all, well, depends what you want to do. You know, do you want to work one-on-one with people and help them with their health problems? Then yes, you should study before doing that. But everything else that you need to do to share your passion in the natural health movement and share your knowledge and help others and spread the word, well, there are not courses that are going to teach you that. You know, there's no university of starting your own website because it changes every year. Things are not up to date. If there was a course about that, it's constantly moving, so you need to learn by doing it. Okay, before we go into like specific examples that I want to show you, like of people who've created websites following these principles, I want to talk, like, make sure you avoid this #1 mistake that people make. And I see this done all the time. So who has an idea what it might be? Guess.
Underfinanced.
Underfinanced. No.
Doing too much.
Doing too much. No, definitely not. Another guess?
Too broad.
Too broad. Yeah, that's a good one, but it's not the #1 mistake I see, at least in my eyes. Yes?
Starting something and then doubting yourself.
And then what?
Doubting yourself.
Starting something and then doubting yourself is certainly a good one. Well, okay, maybe a high contender. Yes?
Starting a business with the wrong mission.
Starting a business with the wrong mission? Yeah.
The focus is getting rich rather than helping.
Focus getting rich and not helping people. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one.
Not using a system that is already works.
Not using a system that already works. Yes. These are all good. And let's just go through them. Yes.
Misrepresenting yourself.
Misrepresenting yourself. Yes.
Not having any clarity in what you want to achieve.
What having any clarity what you want to achieve. What not having any clarity on what you want to achieve. I think we're getting really close to what I want to say. Yes.
Not having passion.
Not having passion. Yes.
A business plan.
Not having a business plan. Okay. Well, the #1 mistake that I want to share is something that you haven't said yet. Okay. But it's a mistake that people make, let's say once they've handled all of these things that we're talking about. Once they're ready, they have the passion, they know what to do, you know, they have a plan. So they decide to come up with an idea, find a market for it, and try to sell it with them to that market. So you have an idea, like you're passionate about health, you're passionate about this thing you've discovered about raw foods, and okay, I'm going to write a book about that. Let's just write a book about that. That's what people want. They want that book. They want that. So I'm going to spend 2 years writing that book, and then I'm going to find a market for that. Who wants that book? And then realize, well, nobody's buying that book. And I put $10,000 in printing that book, and now nobody's buying. Like, there's no market for it. There's something wrong. Now, the problem is you're totally upside down. You need to. What I want to teach you to do is to think really in terms of what people want. You want to think about your market first, rather than think about what sounds good to you. So often, if you have an idea that sounds good, there's a good chance if you have a flair for it that it might sell well or it might be of interest to people. But you don't know. You don't know that. And the problem when people spending all that time writing things and trying to publish things and trying to create products and services is that they don't think about what people really want. They're just thinking about how they would like it to be, what they think it's cool. So you start with people. That is your target market. The first step is identify who that market is. Are you going to market to older people who want to improve their health and look younger? Are you going to try to appeal to everybody? Are you going to try to appeal to people who've their only concern is losing weight? Or are you going to appeal to athletes who want to improve their performance? The more you can define that market and not make it too broad, the more people will relate to you. So a big mistake is trying to appeal to everybody. You don't want to appeal to everybody. You want to appeal to certain very clearly defined category of people and identify who those people would be. Who would be your ideal client? And then speak to that person directly. And then everyone else will kind of realize whether the message is for them or not. When you're trying to appeal to everybody, you appeal to nobody. Then the problem is finding out what they want. I'm going to talk about a methodology where you can actually find out what people want before creating products and then offering that solution. So, can you be a problem solver? That's really what we're talking about today, is finding a way to find solutions to problems. Now, I'm just going to go through some I've created over 30 or 50 courses. I haven't counted all of them, ebooks courses, over the years. And they're all solutions to problems. So something like this that I recently released is clearly not something that will appeal to everybody. But it's a solution to a problem. The problem is a lot of people think it's pretty hard to live in a cold climate and eat raw foods and would like to find a way to move to a tropical paradise. And a tropical place to live year-round or part of the year. And it's a problem I've asked myself how to solve for many years, and I finally solved that problem. So I have a solution, I have discovered something, and that's something I can share. So that's a solution to a problem. Something completely different. Years ago, I learned how to learn different languages. I discovered a method to do that. And that was very valuable to me. And I learned that a lot of people would like to learn the same thing. So the problem is, well, it's difficult to learn a language when, you follow traditional methods. So solution is an easy method to learn languages that work. There's all kinds of examples I could go through. I just wanted to point out some random ones. And how I come up with a methodology for releasing courses or products that will be successful every time. I ask people, simply. I come up with a survey like this, where I ask people, which of the following topics would you be more likely to buy or be more interested in? And then people point out the ones that they like the most. And then I come up with the number 1, number 2 winner, number 3 winner. And I ignore everything else. And I focus on these things because even though that's not necessarily always what drives me the most, because I'm thinking only about myself, I'm thinking about what interests me. If I think about what interests other people, recently I released a product that was very successful. It was raw vegan DVDs for low-fat raw foods. How to make low-fat raw foods and show that on the screen on DVDs. Now, I didn't want to do that product because it's a lot of work. Filming DVDs, I've never done that before. The entire organization. But I did that survey and I found out that's really what people want. That's what people want. So I'm going to put the efforts into that rather than what I think is going to be just easy for me to do. So what if you don't have a list? Well, there's some ways where you can actually survey your market without even owning a list. You can work from anywhere. So I like tropical places. So my goal was always, how can I create a business that I can run from anywhere? Your goal might be something else. it's important to ask yourself how you want your lifestyle to be before designing the business that will support that, rather than just thinking in terms of a business. Like opening a raw restaurant might sound really good on paper, but ask some people, what is it like to own a restaurant? And they're going to tell you, well, you know, only work 90 hours a week, and you never get to take a vacation, and you're probably not going to make any money for the first 5 years. So like, okay, well, thanks for the advice. I know it's not for me, and I know some people are very successful with these things, but you know, don't jump into any opportunity without really asking yourself if it's going to work with your lifestyle, what you really want. So nowadays, in 2009, you can take your business anywhere. All you need is your mind, a laptop computer, and the web. Some examples of things that I sell and why I sell them, but there's more than that. I sell ebooks. Why? Because ebooks can be downloaded anytime. And I found over the years that if you offer people the option between a real book and an ebook, that as the years go by, more and more people just want the ebook. They want instant gratification. So it's not really about selling it because it's cheaper for you. It's not that much cheaper because of the customer service involved and everything. It's about the same. But a lot of people want that instant gratification. Now, you can create courses on DVDs or sell other people's courses, and it has a higher value because, you know, we're here talking, and I could record this on audio, and you could listen to it on a CD. But would you think that being here in this room and seeing me and asking me questions is better? It has more value, so you'd be willing to pay more for this than just a CD? Well, it's like that with everything, with any product or courses or services that you can offer. Some things are of higher value, higher perceived value. Something are of higher value in general. Physical books, why should you have a book to sell? Now, a lot of people think, well, I'm going to sell this book and I'm going to make a lot of money, and that's how I'm going to support myself with selling books. You don't, in my experience, books is your business card. Your book is your business card. It's what gives you credibility. You don't print a book to make money. You print a book because you want to spread the word about your ideas, and you want to give yourself more credibility. That's the real reason to have a book. So the books that I sell, why do I have a book that I'm giving away for $5 downstairs? Because that's not where my business is. I want people to have that book, you know. I want to give it some value, but the book is my business card. How do you sell a digital product? First, you need a sales page where you describe what the digital product is. So this is an example of a product that I released last year. Was about finally the very first practical guide to eating raw during the winter. A problem people have is not being able to eat raw during the winter. So my solution was, how about a recipe book that has recipes for the winter and tips on how to eat raw in the winter? Now, I need to describe that. And when I describe a product, you know, like my philosophy is that would you want to buy a car just with a one-sentence description of that car? You want to ask a lot of questions. And would you be satisfied if you went to buy a car and someone just talked to you for 30 seconds? No. You want a long description to know exactly what you're getting. So you need a detailed page. I don't recommend these very short paragraph description that people have for different products. I write an entire web page, several pages, often 10 or 20 pages for every product. And then you need a download page where people can access their product and download it. And that's pretty much it. So let's talk about some resources you can walk away with if you're interested to sell digital products online. The first one is obviously my affiliate link for what is commonly known as one shopping cart. But if you go there, that is my affiliate link, so I get a commission. I want to let you know that. But that's Frederic's cart is the system that I use, or one shopping cart. And it handles all of my business online. Autoresponder. ClickBank is a service for selling digital product. To checkout. is a service. Some people ask, well, let's say I want to sell my books online, but I'm not a merchant. I don't have like credit card processing abilities. How can I do that? Well, 2Checkout is a website that allows you, they process your payments for you, and then they take a percentage. And that way you can sell anything online, digital or physical, without actually owning a business yet. IdealAutoresponder.com, another variation, and PayPal.com. So I'll give you more resources. And let's say, for example, you wanted to sell CDs and DVDs and audio CDs and CD-ROMs and DVD-ROMs and anything in that form of media. Well, if the traditional way is like you go and you go print these DVDs and you have to ship them yourself. And you print thousands or 500. Well, there's a service called QUEST.TV. I'll give you the address where, for a very low fee, you can get your DVDs or CDs printed one at a time, and they can even ship them to your customers from anywhere in the world. And it's all automated online. So the service is QUEST.TV.com. Okay. Everybody got it? I want to give you some resources you can walk away with if you want to investigate more. But then we'll talk about the specific philosophy, how you can set up your own website easily. Now, this is my fulfillment company. So I ship books, I ship DVDs, I have digital products, but I never actually see a lot of these things because I don't want to have to ship them myself. So this is like what a fulfillment company account could look like, where another third-party company is handling your shipments for you. Anywhere in the world, all you need is internet access, and they can ship your products from anywhere. You don't even have to own a warehouse or anything. Two companies that I'm going to recommend: e-fulfillment service. It might be e-fulfillment services, in case you don't reach it. Might try to put an S. And Vervante.com. So two companies that can help you. So how can you not, if you go back 10 years ago, just 15 years ago, you wanted to start a mail order business. You needed to do everything yourself. Now there are companies that can print your CDs from anywhere in the world. There's even more. Companies can print your newsletter one at a time, ship them. You don't even have to see them, upload the files. You can build a great website on a very tight budget. And I see a lot of people spending way too much money on their first website. And the problem is what is key online is the content. It's not so much the form. And people invest way too much money at first on the form. They want the website to look nice. They've seen other websites that look nice. But they don't ask themselves, well, is this a website that people will actually want to go to every time? And if the words are right, if the content is right, you don't actually need anything. You can have a little ugly text website and people will go to it, and then later you can improve it. So I don't recommend spending a lot of money initially on a website. Same concept. Your audience, your website offers a solution. Your audience has a problem. They're looking for solutions online. That's the main reason why people search on Google, is because they're looking for solutions for problems. They're typing up problems in the Google search engines. A problem might be, where can I find a restaurant tonight? That's not my problem you might solve, but other people have thought about how to solve that problem. Another problem was like, how can I get a flight to LA next week? That's a problem. Other problems, how can I solve my arthritis? Or how can I eat a raw food diet? Or how can I stay raw during the winter? People type all of these things in Google, and if they find you, because you have information on it, then you will get traffic to your website. Bad examples. I didn't want to point out bad examples for other people, so I thought I could show you my first ugly little website from 1998. Sunfood.net. That's what it looked like. It's terrible. Everything was wrong. There was a lot of content, no way to build a mailing list. But that's how I started. Now, of course, you can learn a lot from those days. And I'm going to show you some examples of good websites and the simplicity of those websites and how you can have a good design also but in a very simple way that's not going to cost you a lot of money. I referred to that website, Fit on Raw. It's one of my students who took our course. What's her homepage? Her homepage is not cluttered, except for that thing I recommended not to have, but she really wanted to have it. It's kind of nice, you know, that drawing of her. Only 3 links: home, about, blog, and contact. Free newsletter. And then the main page offers something free. You want to go somewhere, like, don't you feel it when you find a website and the only thing they're trying to do is sell you something that kind of puts you off? So you go to a website and suddenly they're offering something for free. And they're even selling it to you. They're selling you the idea that it's a good thing for you to get this for free. So that's what I recommend. Sell what's free. No, don't just say it's free, sign up. People have too many options online. They can sign up for this newsletter or another newsletter. Convince them that yours is better. Sell them what's free. More description on why they should sign up for free. That's what your main page should be on your website. It shouldn't be anything else but this. Getting people added to your newsletter and your list. Then she has a blog. Now in 2009, that's what we have. We have blogs. A website is a blog. A blog is a website. You don't make the distinction between the two. You don't ask yourself, should I get a website and a blog? You only need a website, and the website is your blog. And you might have a separate area and call it blog, because that's where people know they can get your latest articles, but it's all part of the same framework. So when you ask yourself, well, what kind of website do I need? You only need a blog. That's what you need. But within that framework, you're going to create pages that are different, that are separate from the latest articles that appear on your blog. But just see it as one thing. So she has her e-zine, and she has regular content. Now, the key to succeed online is consistency. I don't know if Kevin Gianni is in the room, but Kevin does a video online every day of the week. And I have no idea how he does it. But he manages, you know, and the key is the consistency. People are looking forward to his video every day of the week. But what would happen if Kevin, like, skipped a month just for no reason? No, he'd lose a lot of subscribers, a lot of interest. Now, you might not do a daily video, and I know I'm not going to do that myself. I'm, you know, more of like a writer. But I know if I don't keep up with my schedule, sending my e-zine regularly, that I lose people. I lose interest. So at first, even if it's once a month, you need to have something regularly, consistently. How much should you spend for your first website? You know, because I told you shouldn't spend a lot of money. And if you can find me a business that you can start on less than $1,000, tell me. I don't know any business other than anything you can do online for less than $1,000. So you're going to need to spend some money. But hosting is cheap. Autoresponder is cheap. And that's the thing you can't skip. An autoresponder is a way to build your mailing list. I'm going to have some time to answer some questions at the end. But design for your website as low as $200 for something very simple, or less if you do it yourself. And up to $1,000, I wouldn't recommend spending more than that. A domain name, and that's it. Now, some resources that I recommend. Hosting, really, you know, common one, GoDaddy, but you look in the yellow pages in your area, find a hosting company, ask around, ask people to recommend. Autoresponder, Frederic Scott. Design, 2 people, amazing people that design great websites at a great cost. Take these, note these websites down. They are people that I recommend. Tell them I recommended you. They will give you a special price. And domain name, Namecheap.com. For about $10, you can reserve your domain name for your website. Obviously, we're talking about an internet business. But I'm pretty sure everybody wants an internet business. Is there anybody who doesn't want an internet business? Would like another type of business? Okay. I kind of assume that's what people want. Okay, everybody has that? All right, so how to make a living in the natural health movement. Obviously, I cannot answer everything, you know, in a 45-minute introduction, but I want to let you know that it's possible and it's easy and you can do it, and you don't need to wait. You don't need to wait until you're the picture of perfect health. You need to find how you can be a problem solver. So I want to talk quickly about a course that I have for about 2 minutes or less. Just show you that it's available, and then I will answer some questions. So we have 10 modules in this course that we're doing. It's a course I've been doing since 2007. It's called How to Make a Living in the Natural Health Movement. And it starts in September, the next one, but it's twice a year. So defining your vision, your passion, setting up your own business, how to profit and create your website, information products, all about that, marketing strategies, how to write your own sales letter, your action plan. That's the general structure of the course. It starts in September. There's 10 modules. The complete course is $9.97. We have a do-it-for-you package where we actually create everything for you. We create your website. We set things up. We put everything in place. So basically, you just have to write the essential parts, and we take care of the rest, all the autoresponder, how that works, etc. We are having specials at the event if you sign up early. These specials will not be available online. So that's the course, How to Make a Living in the Natural Health Movement. Come and talk about it. There's also a website, fredericpatenaude.com, makealiving.html, where you're not going to get the discount. That's the regular price. But it starts soon in September. I want to know if you have questions about anything related to how to make a living in the natural health movement. And we can have more time to answer questions at the booth, too. Yes?
If you were to start a restaurant like in a small town,
Mm-hmm.
what you would recommend first to like survey what people in the town would want?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How would you go about
Well, first I would recommend that you ask yourself if you really want to do this, and talk to restaurant owners and ask them what is it like to have a restaurant. And then, yes, you can run a survey and ask people, if you ask people like, what would you like in a restaurant, they won't really know how to answer. So you need to give them some options. So I recommend like a multi-choice, like what would be the best name for a restaurant, or what do you think is most missing in a restaurant? So that's what I would do. And then start from that. That would be your first market research. Yes?
What's your best idea for making money then from a blog? I've got a great blog that has lots of content, but it's obviously not generating cash to maybe stay home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, you don't actually generate income from a blog unless you place advertising on that blog and resell products. So the key is not to see your blog as something, that generates income, but more as a way to build your relationship with your audience, with your subscriber base. So the way to do that is to use your blog as a way to build your mailing list. And do it that way. So every single page on your blog should be getting people to subscribe to your list. Really rarely do I make sales for products from just people randomly going to my blog and deciding to order something. What happens is there's a funnel in terms of how people get to know you. So first, people are searching for information. They find your blog. They're like, oh, this person has interesting information. Then they see you have a newsletter to offer. They can sign up for your newsletter. And not only can they sign up for your newsletter, but you're going to give them something for free. You're going to give them a bonus report that they cannot get anywhere else that is going to answer even more questions, or something that you might even sell, like a free ebook or something. And they sign up for that, they get that information, and suddenly they realize, oh, wait, that person has really good knowledge. And then one day they get an email from you and you say, well, I also have this book that I offered, this ebook, and decide to buy it. So you don't come, it's called also permission marketing. You just don't. You ask permission. Do you like that information? If you like it, you can sign up for my newsletter. It's free. And then in the newsletter, you even give more free information and also have this book to offer. So you're building the relationship first. It's like dating before getting married. Any other questions? Yes?
I was wondering, what would you recommend if you have a lot of ideas and
Yeah.
a lot of different directions that you might be interested in going in, like a good way of just narrowing it down?
Okay, if you have too many ideas, the question is, if you have too many ideas, how do you narrow it down? And that's the problem. Well, my first recommendation is start with your passion. Because ultimately, you have to go with what drives you. So you could look at it, you could look it up and see, okay, all mathematical and see what, is there a demand? Is there, I mean, you need to do that too. So you want to go online and look for, first you look, I recommend like several websites. Amazon.com, you go in the bestseller categories. You type up raw food or whatever the topic is, women's health, and you see, is there a lot of book on the subject? What are people saying about these books? What are people commenting about in the reviews and their comments about the reviews? And you see, what's happening there. You go to clickbank.com, you see what are the ebooks that sell on that subject. You go to Google and type it up. Do you see ads appearing, or is it just people giving away something for free? Is there competition? You want a market where there is competition. You don't want to be a pioneer, because pioneers have arrows on their back. You don't want to pioneer something where nobody wants that information. So you start with that, and then maybe you have 2 or 3 topics that are really interest you, and you ask yourself, what drives you? For example, I was really interested in languages, and raw foods, and how to make a living, teaching marketing and things like that. So I asked myself, well, what should I focus most of my attention in? And I knew my interest in linguistics was more cyclical, like going in cycles. So I realized I have way more passion for raw foods than anything else, for health. So that's going to be my main thing, So ask yourself, is there something you could like spend all day talking about? Well, if you can, it's going to be easy writing about it. It's going to be easy, build a business around it. So that's what I would recommend. Yes?
How do we get the Expo discount?
How do we get the Expo discount? You just ask us, and you get the Expo discount. Yes?
I didn't.
No, first, gentlemen.
Do you use the services of Elance to write any of your ebooks?
The question is, do you use the services of Elance to write any ebooks? Elance is a service for outsourcing things, and you can even outsource writing. I don't outsource anything that I write. That's the only thing I don't outsource. So I don't have people ghostwriting ebooks for me, except recipes. I must admit I've done that. But all of my writing, I don't outsource it. I prefer that it comes from me, because I don't see anybody that could write the way I would like to write. So that's the part that I don't outsource. And generally, people outsource ebooks and get other people to write ebooks for them. And just the quality of the information isn't just it's not the same, because it's going to be very generic. There's no edge. You want an edge, and only that you can find that. But there's so many other things you can outsource. You can outsource the design of your ebook. You can outsource your web page. You can outsource everything that you don't want to do and you shouldn't be doing, because you should spend your time on things that you're really qualified to do. Other question?
Yeah, if you have
yes?
ebook, how do you use the service to download it?
To sell it to people?
Yeah.
Once you have your own ebook?
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you sell your own ebook?
Yes.
The website that I showed you, clickbank.com, is a great way to start. That's a website that can process payments for you. But of course, you'll need to set up the web page, so you can ask the designers that I recommended. They can help you. Yes?
And as a traveler, getting to know your market a couple of months at a time throughout the year, getting to know a market before you get there, how to be specific as a speaker. Any ideas besides, obviously going on
So you want to speak?
traveling lifestyle,
Okay.
health educator?
Okay. Health education. I'm not sure I understand your specific question.
Any ideas besides the obvious to get to know the market before you get there, to prepare to be a speaker?
Okay.
And to market yourself.
So on a speaking tour, getting to know the places you're going to be and making sure you speak to them. Well, that's a good question. I don't do a lot of speaking, so it would be hard for me to answer that. But what I would probably do is I would ask the organizers of events, so what kind of crowd is this? Like, what kind of people is this? Like, because it's different everywhere. But I don't have a lot of super insights that I can give you there. Other questions? Yes.
How do you suggest driving people to your blog?
Driving people to your blog, yeah. I mean, that's a huge topic, but I'll simplify it to 2 basic things. You want to first make sure everything you post on your blog, you use you don't use very generic words in the title of the post. So you don't say, "Today I answer your questions." That's the title of your post, because there's no keywords in there that people might search for. You might put the top 5 best exercises for health. People looking for best exercises might find that. So that's the first thing. You generate traffic automatically that way through Google search engines, etc. And of course, you want to have as many people as possible to link to you. Now, you do that. I don't do that by massively emailing people and trying to. I do that by putting good content out so people want to pass it around. That's the main thing to do. And then the second way, fastest way to drive traffic to your website is through Google advertising, paying for advertisement on Google. And those are my 2 favorite ways to get traffic. But obviously, it would take hours to explain the second way in details. Another question? Just one last question? One last question? Yes?
I don't know if I missed it in one of your links that you mentioned in the resources, but is there a company that will help you design your ebook?
Yeah, a company that will help you design your ebook, yeah. Well, the 2 websites, the 2 persons that I recommend, amydewolf.com and killercovers.com will help you do that. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Good luck.